Good morning, happy Sunday. Today is, I believe, April 14th. Don't quote me though, because I have no concept of dates. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about all things Kindle. Okay, so I'm going to start off this video by saying that this is the Kindle Paperwhite 11th generation, and I do have Kindle Unlimited. So we're just going to go into what I have for the Kindle real quick, and then we'll go into what's on my Kindle. So I have this, it's like a clearish black case with sparkles on it. I did have a clear case. It just wasn't my favorite. The whole sticker thing wasn't really for me. I do have one back here, but that's it. And this sticker I don't think I'll ever get tired of. And it's also not stuck on to my Kindle, because I did do that first, and then I realized how big of a mistake that was. So this is just floating around in my case. And then I got these little magnetic stickers on Amazon. I think I got 2 or 3 for, I'm not 100% sure. I think it was around $10, $11 for 2 or 3 of these, and they are strong. I have one on my other case too, that if I ever want to switch it out, I can just pop my pop socket on. And then I have this magnetic pop socket with this little pink heart. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but so this is my phone's pop socket. I just switch back and forth between my phone and my Kindle. That's my favorite part about having a magnetic pop socket, and I don't think I'll ever go back, because I originally had a regular stick-on pop socket and I stuck it on the back of my Kindle. I didn't have a case. And then trying to get the pop socket off, because they are so incredibly strong. That glue that's on that adhesive. I like stuck something underneath the pop socket and I tried to pry it off, and there is a gouge in the back of my Kindle that we don't talk about. It is hidden and you can't see it with this case on, but with a clear case on you could, so I always had like a sticker or something over it. But can't see it on here, which makes me happy. So like I said, all of this came from Amazon. I don't know if I said that, but all of this did come from Amazon. Just about everything I ever buy comes from Amazon. But now we're going to dive into what's on my Kindle. We're just going to go over all the books that I have checked out of Kindle Unlimited. I believe you can have 20 books checked out at a time. And there's not a return by date. There's not like a list that you have to wait for your turn. If you have Libby, you probably understand what I'm saying. Libby, you have to wait for a copy to be available, which doesn't really make sense to me, but I deal with it. I love Libby. I use it every single day. But Kindle Unlimited, you can just, whatever book you want, as long as it's available on Kindle Unlimited, you can have it on your Kindle immediately. I also love the Kindle app on my phone, probably more than the Kindle. Sorry. I like scrolling to read instead of tapping the page to turn. I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to go through all of the books that I have checked out of Kindle Unlimited. First, I have Out of Bounds by Lucia Franco checked out. So her whole Off Balance series was on Kindle Unlimited. It might be back on now. I don't know. But before I read it, she was like, get it now. If you download it on your Kindle, like, you can read it even after it's taken off of Kindle Unlimited. But once you return it, you lose it. So Out of Bounds is the only one that I haven't read yet. It's the last one. It's like a novella, a Q&A kind of thing for the characters, like an interview style. I just haven't read it yet. I don't know if I ever will, but I don't want to lose it if I do decide to. So that's been on there for a long time. Next I have For the Fans by Nyla Kay. I want to read this. I've heard amazing things. Just haven't gotten around to it. I think it's a really thick book, and I'm a little intimidated by visually reading thick books. I'm a big audiobook girly. Again, if you don't know that by now, you will soon. The more you watch my videos, because audiobooks are basically the only reason I read. Then I have Once You're Mine by Morgan Bridges checked out. I saw this on, there's an ad on TikTok that I see all the time of this, I don't know her name, of this creator talking about this book, and it made me want to read it. But I think it's like a dark romance, and I'm not a dark romance girly, which again, if you don't already know, you will soon. Then I have Stay With Me by Brooke Montgomery, which is the second book in the series. I want to say the first one was Here With Me, and I loved it. I just haven't gotten around to reading the next one yet. Then I have Promise Me by Carly Jean. No idea what it's about. It's part of a series though. No idea. Look cute. Then I have Serpentine Valentine by Gianna Darling. That is a sapphic romance. I think it's a Medusa retelling. Some books I know nothing about, and some books I know a little more than nothing about. The cover's kind of cool though. I heard good things. Then I have The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Again, I have to read that. This is by Carissa Broadbent. This was on my March TBR. Haven't read it, haven't touched it. Because again, I like listening to books. So my fantasy books especially, I feel like I'll kind of get lost in the world building and everything if I'm visually reading it. But if I'm listening, it goes faster, so I have less time to forget. Then I have Before We Came by Sloane St. James. This is part of the Lakes Hockey series. This is book 1. No idea what it's about. These are romances, if that wasn't clear. Then I have Beautiful Lies by Emery Rose. I think this is part of a series. That's all I know. I think Beneath You're Beautiful is another one of the books in the series. Couldn't tell you for sure though, so don't quote me. Then I have Sovereign by Raya Morris Edwards. I think I saw this on TikTok or Instagram, and it's a dark cowboy romance, and I was like, sign me up. So my thing with dark romance, again, if you've watched my other videos, this is going to be like, oh my god, shut up, I got it. But if you haven't watched my other videos, I like dark themes and like heavier topics and stuff, but I don't like when the male main character wants her to be scared of him. I don't like it. Anyway, so I hesitate. I want to read these dark books, but I hesitate because what if they're not my kind of dark and they're the other kind of dark? Then just DNF it, but we won't talk about that. Anyway, next I have Hold On To Me by Lucia Franco. The female main character's name is my name, which is kind of weird, but I'm like 15% through that. I just stopped reading it, so I'll have to go back to that eventually. Then I have The Devil's Bargain by Corinne Hart. I hope that's how you say it, Corinne. That is book 1 of the Deal with the Devil series. Another dark one that I'm just hoping I'll like. Then I have Love Contract by Sophie Lark. This is the first Sophie Lark book that I've read. I'm 5% in, so I can't say that I've read it. But I think I have Brittle Prince behind me somewhere. I keep redoing my shelves and then I don't know where anything is. Do you see it? Because I don't see it. Oh, it's right here. Brittle Prince by Sophie Lark. I bought that as my first Sophie Lark read, but then I saw Love Contract and the little, I don't want to say ads about it, but I saw her talking about it and advertising it, and it sounded like a fluffier version of her usual writing. I think her other writing is, like, her typical writing's a little on the darker side, which again, I don't have a problem with if it's in the right circumstances, but this sounds fluffy for her. So I was like, all right, let me start with the fluffy, see if I like her writing, and then I'll go on to the darker stuff. I don't even know if that's dark. Again, don't quote me. Then I have Rope of the Moon by Ava Hunter. Cover's cute. It's a romance. That's all I know. Then I have Off the Beaten Path by Madison Wright. This was also on my March TBR, and I'm 2% in. Again, it's not that I don't like the book, but a book has to like grab me immediately for me to read it with my eyes. I'm like the worst reader ever. It's fine. Then I have, okay, so this one. Then I have A Hue of Blue by, I'm sorry, her name is really small on the cover, Marie-France Liger? That's tiny. I can't see that. Anyway, I'll put it on the screen somewhere. So I've heard that A Hue of Blue is sad and beautifully written. So I immediately downloaded it. Then I have Alive and Wells by Bailey Hanna. This is the first book in the Wells Ranch series. Do I look crazy like squinting at my Kindle? I'm sorry. This is another cowboy romance, I'm pretty sure. There's a cowboy hat on the cover, so I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I've heard great things about this one too. So, and I haven't read Bailey Hanna. I don't know if she has other books actually. I haven't even heard of her besides that book. Then I have Icebound by Meredith Trapp. And if you have a similar feed to mine, you've probably seen the promotions for this book. And Kayla actually got a special edition of this book, so whenever she reads it and she tells me it's good, I'm gonna read it. But then I have Restore Me by J.L. Seegers. I'm actually listening to this right now, but sometimes when I'm listening to a book and it's available on Kindle Unlimited, I'll download it just so I can annotate as I'm going through. But I'm like about a third or halfway through Restore Me. It's pretty good so far. And then last but not least, definitely not least, I have Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I'm 4% in. But I am enjoying it. I just fell asleep last night. So I can't lay down and read. That's my problem. And this encourages laying down and reading, especially with this. And I have the arm with the remote. How am I supposed to read? Although I did read Two of Us by Taylor Torres on my phone very quickly. I feel like I read faster when I can scroll to read instead of turning the pages. But I don't know, that might be a controversial opinion. Let me know. Anyway, if there are any books that are on KU that you think I should read based on the very little knowledge that you have about my reading taste, please let me know. You can drop them in the comments. And otherwise, I will see you next week.